How's it going, Blazers? This is David Blade Banter. We do have Greg Medford here from Medford Knife and Tool. So we're going to start off with kind of an icebreaker question for him. So 1 through 25, choose a number for that, and then we're going to
17.
17 for that. Now, so what's your favorite place you've ever visited? Favorite place you've ever visited?
Holy smokes! Favorite place I've ever visited? Well, probably when I came back from the Middle East with the Marine Corps, when I landed in North Carolina. It was probably my favorite place I ever visited.
Yeah, coming back home.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So now, I guess, what's the most popular one that you guys have for right now as far as your most popular knife that you guys feel is
our
really
Slim
hot?
Midi is doing really, really well. So many people kind of think of us as a big knife company only, and we only made big knives because my list to build them was so long, I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And as I caught up and the company grew, I started bringing some more mainstream, I would say more pocket-friendly carry style knives. So the Slim Midi, the Smooth Criminal, which is out now, which is constantly sold out. Yeah. Fantastic little
That's
knife.
a button lock.
It is a button lock, yeah. And I think it's one of the best button locks on the planet. There's no play in any direction. Awesome. It is a knife that flicks with one finger. It's glossy and glassy like everybody wants, and doesn't have an ounce of mechanical lash, and it's just fantastic. And then our USMC Fighter, which is, kind of my, I was having this little retro kick this last year where I wanted to do my modern take on some classic designs like the Ubiquitous fighting knife that was made famous by the Marine Corps and K-Bar and Oneida and all the people who made it over the years. Yeah, so I made a modern version of that that's got some really cool technology in it, in addition to modern materials and some what I think are just dramatic updates to the overall parent design.
Good. Yeah, because I've been following with you guys as far as the videos go, and I really appreciate where you guys are going with the videos and the stories, and really the connection to the customer. As far as I think one thing that you guys really shine as far as that goes, as far as you really care about the people that end up actually handling and using the knife at the end.
It's a double-edged sword, you know. I'm as accessible as I am, and I'm this accessible every day, not just at trade show time. As accessible as I am, I'm kind of a straight-talking former infantry, Southwest, kind of anti-establishment, kind of skeptic, tell it like I see it, almost to a fault. And it's a double-edged sword. So when people love having this much access to the founder, and it can cut both ways, because sometimes you're like, whoa, that's more than I was planning on, because I'll drop an F-bomb and say something politically incorrect, and people go, oh my God, how is that guy head of a company? I'm like, I'm not really head of a company. There's a company built around me. So I mean, still way to go. I mean, I think it's been really good. So now, I guess what's new and exciting, I did see that there's a Scrappy in the works as far as that little slip joint type of thing. How the hell did you find out about that? Did I mention it in the video?
Yeah, I mentioned it in the video.
Yeah,
one of your videos.
You know what it was is a product. There's something about knife making that is really, it's actually, there's a lot of good old boys and there's a lot of kind of conservative right-wing types in knife making. Okay. We're kind of rugged individualists. We're kind of like everybody wants to do that. Everyone thinks they're the greatest knife maker in the room, on and on and on. But we're in an industry that you can't waste anything. And there's a lot of waste seeking perfection. So I looked around at the waste and I was talking, with a friend of mine who's an engineer, and I'm like, hey, let's come up with a little fixture to take our scraps and cut some original stock that is like we cut it out of a sheet, and let's use half of our scrap. What can we do? And I
just sitting there
came up with this knife called the Scrappy. So the material cost on it is zero, and it's just labor. So it has some recycling, repurposing costs, and then it has labor, and it has no material cost. So I thought it would be a nice way that we could maybe have a non-traditional Medford knife that would get into a different price point. So it's probably going to be, it's a sub $200 knife, slip joint with big dimensions that's unlike any slip joint in the building.
I guess slip joints have been something that's kind of going on the uptick as far as that goes, as far as popularity kind of coming back into the thing. It's always been around, but that seems to be a trend for the market.
Guys, you collect some stuff and they get a bunch of big pocket knives, and then they want some small ones, and then you find out you carry your small ones more, and the industry, you want to know what size a knife should be? It's the size of a Benchmade knife. Take the company that makes the most knives, that sends them, as one of real American success stories. That's how big a knife should be.
Yeah.
And then what? How can you differentiate yourself in that space? You know, I differentiate myself with this knife, these lines, this cut of this model, and it's done really, really well.
And it's the Slim Mini, correct?
It's the Slim Mini, and it's in that kind of size of the Benchmade, you know, typical size, very pocket friendly, very carry friendly. And you get much smaller than that, and it's just too damn small, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just kind of falls
and
out
some
of
guys like that, right? And then other guys live in a place that is so hostile that carrying anything that they really want to drop into the bottom of their pocket, and that's where your slip joint really does very well.
Good. Yeah. And then, so do you remember, as far as your first knife that you've had? Sure. Going back as far as you go, now what was that type of knife?
My first pocket knife, I had a case and an old timer. Yeah. So I had an old timer first, and I remember a teenager in the neighborhood when I was 6 was kind of a bully. And I climbed up into a mulberry tree to get a airplane I was flying. It got stuck in the tree. And when I got up in there, he basically stood at the bottom of the tree and said he was going to kick my ass when I came down out of the tree. And I was 6. So I don't know why his teenager wanted to beat me up.
You're stuck in the tree for a while.
I'm stuck in the tree for a while, and I was crying. And I remember my grandpa had bought this old-timer pocket knife. I took the pocket knife out, opened the big blade out, held it by the big blade, and I threw it at the kid. And it stuck in the top of his foot, and he freaked out, and it let me. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I couldn't believe it, but you know what? Got me out of the tree, set me up to be a Marine. It was perfect. Yeah. So the woman whose yard it was in, she called my mom. I said, "Your mom wants you home right now." I got home. My mom's standing in the driveway with a hammer, and I was like, "Uh-oh." And she goes, "Give me the knife," and I gave her the old timer, and she smashed it in the driveway with a hammer. I was so sad. That's my first pocket knife.
Oh, very good. Awesome story for that. So I do appreciate the time and everything else. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for stopping.